Here's more wrestling news for November 22nd, 2022. And we're starting off with Raw, as the main event of last night's show was a highlight of the night, as Asuka faced Rhea Ripley to determine whether Team Bianca or Team Damage Control would have the advantage in Wargames. A stellar main event and a rematch from WrestleMania 37, Ripley got the win for her team, meaning that Team Damage Control will get their second member out before Team Bianca, giving the heels a distinct advantage. The only disappointing part is that the final member of Team Bianca wasn't revealed on Raw, and while Candice LeRae has been a favorite to join, she would have been announced by now if it were her. It's been rumored that Becky Lynch will be the fifth woman for the team, but that hasn't been confirmed just yet, and we'll have to wait until SmackDown to know for sure. Last week, Akira Tozawa had fans speculating on his future after he shared photos of his ring gear with the simple caption, "Thank you." Many saw this as a sign that the former 24/7 champion was leaving, but this wasn't the case after all. It turns out that Tozawa wasn't saying thank you to the fans, but to the ring gear itself, as he's ditched his ninja attire and gimmick in favor of his more traditional look. For the tapings of WWE main event that happened before Raw, Tozawa wrestled in his classic attire against NXT's Grayson Waller, and was able to get the win over the young prospect. Later in the night on Raw, Tozawa would also appear on that show without his ninja attire, though did decide to wear JBL's cowboy hat during Drew McIntyre's bout with Baron Corbin. Tozawa's ninja gimmick was brought in during the old regime, but he's now back to being himself in WWE, and we'll see what the future holds now that the Japanese star is himself again. When the NWA relaunched in 2017, Nick Aldis was chosen as the face of the company, becoming a two-time world champion for the promotion. Aldis held the iconic title for over 1,300 combined days, but his loyalty to the NWA cost the British star in a major way. Speaking to Wrestling Inc., Aldis said that when AEW was first getting started, Tony Khan spoke to him, and Aldis was eager to sign. With that said, Aldis didn't want to leave the NWA until he felt they could function effectively without him, and by the time that happened, the AEW offer was no longer an option. It was last month that Aldis announced his intention to leave the NWA when his contract expired, and both he and Billy Corgan have been openly critical of each other since then. Aldis's patience with the NWA and Corgan have run out, and we can't help but wonder how his career, the NWA, and AEW would have been had Nick been All Elite in 2019. Last month, AEW Dynamite made its debut in Toronto, Canada, so it was fitting that the Great White North's Renee Paquette made her AEW debut on the show. Paquette's arrival came over 2 years after she'd left WWE, and it was reported recently that the company's new management had tried to bring her back. Speaking to Vicky Guerrero on the Excuse Me podcast, Renee confirmed the reports, saying she had been talking with WWE before she became All Elite. "I'd been talking with WWE, that had gotten leaked out before I debuted with AEW. I'd been having conversations with WWE about all the things they have going on over there. The more I was thinking about it and figuring out what that looks like and what the future looks like, I was like, no, I want to be in AEW. I want to be part of this company that is growing and developing. I want to help. I want to help lend whatever knowledge I have in this space to make things good. I want to do a good job. I want to be on the road with my husband. That makes life easier." It was more so than that, and it was more conversations John and I were having. That was one of those first big moments. We have to make a decision as a family. Not that I can't do what I want. If that's what I decided to do, it would have been fine, but you have family conversations about what makes the most sense for everyone. Renee added that she is loving her time in AEW and is especially enjoying working with people who were off limits to her when she was working as Renee Young. "There was that sparkle in my eye. I love the way, even my time now having spent in AEW and being able to work there, I love being able to collaborate with people. I love doing the backstage segments and talking to Sanjay, talking to different talent, talking to Don Callis. It's fun. It's fun trying to figure out what those things are rather than just being handed a piece of paper and go, do that. That's fine too. I enjoyed that for many years, but it's fun being able to do it this way." Renee is having a blast in AEW, and she's able to spend much more time with her husband now, and given how she's performed so far, expect her to be sticking around for a long time to come. If you've watched Jade Cargill, you'll know that the TBS champion is outspoken, and it's not just her fellow wrestlers that she's taken issue with. In recent weeks, Cargill has been engaged in a feud with rapper Bow Wow, and their face-to-face confrontation didn't go too well for the Baddies. During a meet and greet in Miami, Bow Wow was confronted by Cargill and her entourage, and the Baddies were stopped by security and ejected from the venue. Bow Wow has been vying for a spot in AEW for some time now, and many believe that this interaction with Cargill, Kiera Hogan, and Layla Gray will lead to an intergender match down the line. Whether that match will happen at AEW's next pay-per-view Revolution or earlier than March 2023, only time will tell. But with Cargill previously expressing support for mixed wrestling, a match is a definite possibility. At AEW Full Gear, after a change of companies and 5 years injured, Saraya made her return to the ring, defeating Britt Baker in a highly emotional match. For many wrestlers, Saraya showed that you don't need to be a bronze to blonde bombshell to be a success, but she wasn't the first woman to break that mold. Years earlier, Chyna proved that different shapes and sizes would work in wrestling, so it's fitting that Saraya paid tribute to the ninth wonder of the world at Full Gear. When a fan said that Saraya's black leather studded ring attire gave them Chyna vibes, the British star responded saying the former WWF Intercontinental Champion was an inspiration for her attire. Sadly, Chyna passed away in 2016 and never got the chance to be inducted in person into the WWE's Hall of Fame, but the Trailblazer continues to be an inspiration to women all these years later. Back to WWE, as Cody Rhodes has been one of the biggest stars of the company in 2022, despite spending much of his time dealing with an injury. Despite tearing his torn pectoral muscle in training, Rhodes still competed at WWE Hell in a Cell, but has been on the shelf ever since. Speaking to Steve Fall of 10 Count, Brandi Rhodes was asked about her husband's condition, and Cody remains driven to get back in the ring as soon as possible. He needs to wrestle, it's in his blood, it's part of his makeup. But now, he's been great through all of this. All of the work that he's been doing to get back has been really good. I went with him to his physical therapist yesterday to finally see, because he's been ragging on me the entire time. You haven't come, you have to come. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming to see. I was really just impressed with how he looks now. He doesn't look like anything happened, which is crazy because he had major surgery. So he looks like the same Cody to me. The muscle mass is all there, he looks ready to me, but I'm not a doctor. When Cody suffered his injury, WWE gave him an estimated return date of March 2023, but many fans were suspicious given that their 9-month window is far longer than torn pectoral recoveries we've seen in the past. Many predict that Rhodes will be a surprise return in next January's Men's Royal Rumble match, which he is a favorite to win, but before then, Rhodes needs to get back to 100%. Since turning heel on his father, Dominik Mysterio has become a heat magnet in WWE and a rare example of a bad guy that fans genuinely despise. In an era of cool heels, it's refreshing to see someone fans hate, but Dominik isn't as bad as he seems on TV. On Instagram, Mysterio shared an image with his real-life girlfriend, who he recently celebrated an anniversary with, but Vince Russo isn't happy. On Writing with Russo, the infamous wrestling personality said that Dominik can't be doing something like that, claiming it is breaking kayfabe. Russo did say that if it were, say, the birth of a child, then a post from a heel wrestler is more acceptable, but not in the case of Dominik celebrating his 11th year anniversary. Whether Russo likes him or not, Dominik has proven to be a success in WWE and has shown no signs of slowing down anytime soon. And we're ending today with WrestleMania, as WWE will often make plans for their two-night spectacular years in advance, and now the city of Nashville may be in store to host the biggest annual event in wrestling. Mike Organ of the Tennessean reports that Butch Spyridon, CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp, recently met with WWE about holding WrestleMania in Music City, but it won't be happening soon. In a statement, WWE confirmed that they are considering Nashville as a potential future host city, but providing a stadium is built that will hold the tens of thousands of fans that will attend. The city is planning on building a proposed stadium in the next 5 years, so while it won't be next year or the year after, Nashville, Tennessee could very well host WrestleMania down the line. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.